Good morning, everybody. Got to get used to saying that. These finals games start at 9 p.m. It's crazy when I go to schedule them. It starts, like I said, at 11:55. Then it's time to go listen to press conferences, and I got to move it to 12:30. I'm scared to hit AM or PM for the next day. That's it. We got Cardo Dudley Jr. I'm Wilson Tarpe Jr. Welcome to our NBA Finals recap. Been doing one of these after each and every game. Tonight was Game 5. Andrew Wiggins steps up as the Warriors beat the Celtics 104-94. This game had some wild swings. You saw the Warriors come out as how a team should come out in a game of this magnitude at home. Got off to a very strong start. You saw the Celtics be the resilient team that we've seen them to be, and they kind of dominated the third quarter. And then we saw the Warriors play championship level basketball in the fourth quarter, led by an unlikely suspect to most people. But to some of us on this side, on this program, not too shocking, but a big moment nonetheless for Wiggins stepping up for Golden State. Steph has one of these games almost every finals. It's just one game where he's just a little off. And what's tough for Boston is you lost the Steph game. You lost he always and there's nothing wrong with being a great player. Great players sometimes have bad games. To only almost have one bad game every finals as much as they've been here, it's not an indictment on anybody. But again, if you're Boston, you lost the Steph game, like the bad Steph game. Obviously, things shift back to Boston after this. But Cardell, your thoughts?
It's the Andrew Wiggins game. This is the one, especially if the Warriors are able to close the deal. This is the one where they look back and they can like, this is where Andrew Wiggins dominated. Boston couldn't guard him. He did a great job on Tatum. Throughout the series, when Tatum gets going, Wiggins does a great job of locking in on him and shutting his water off, so to speak. And it's been paying dividends, man. And I'm just happy for him. You know what I mean? All the slander and stuff he's endured over the years and stuff like that, man. One more win away from officially for good shutting all that up. You know what I mean? And you can't just say, hey, he just rode Steph Curry's coattails and just got a ring and all those guys. It ain't like that. No, he's literally been the second best player on this Warriors team all season. That's why he was an all-star. And he's literally the last two games been the key player in these guys winning these last two games. Steve Kerr had a quote, for people that love to, slander him. I'm going to read it off just now in the post-game presser where they said, what's the difference between him and Minnesota? And a couple quotes. Steve Kerr said, it's a reminder that for almost every player in the NBA, circumstances are everything. Just need to find the right place, the right teammates, that kind of stuff. And Wiggins has been great, been a great fit. I don't know why it's hard for people not to understand. It's like if you work at a terrible job, terrible work environment, job you hate, it's gonna be tough for you to get up day after day and give your best. But you have to, compared to when you working at a place that you enjoy going to. The work environment is the best. It's positive. It's encouraging. They give you everything you need. The pay is great. I mean, that's what he's experiencing go to State, and now he's able to flourish and be good. And Wilson, we was talking about Wax before we got on. You said something great, like late in the game. He's still trying to play the team game. He had it going, trying to play the team game, and Clay gave it back. Like, no, go to work. That's what makes the Golden State Warriors in this era, this dynasty run, so special. Is their selflessness on top of being superstars. You know what I mean? And they just. That environment has just catapulted Wiggins, and the world gets to see why he was the number one pick. You've seen it because he can dominate games at the biggest stages and win it for you, and that's that. But on the Celtics side, this was a winnable game. You had the guy that you wanted to slow down, cold, ice cold, couldn't throw the rock in the ocean, and 7 for 22, and that's the things you get occasionally with Steph Curry, man. When you're a great shooter, you live by the three, you die by the three. 0 for 9, the greatest shooter ever. 0 for 9 from three, and even Wiggins was 0 for 6 from three, and that's pretty much the only negative for him tonight. But Boston gave it back. You know what I mean? 16 turnovers and missed 10 free throws. Can't do that on the road, man. It's tough because the Warriors, they didn't shoot well from deep, but they shot well from the field, and they only missed 2 free throws, and they didn't turn it over. They committed 6 turnovers. You can't give a team like this a chance when you have them on the ropes. You can't give them ways to beat you, because then they're gonna beat you, and that ended up being the reason. I felt like Gary Payton was huge off the bench, huge, man, defensively, getting offensive boards, tip-ins, scoring the ball, cutting back door, and getting layups on Marcus Smart. He kept Marcus Smart occupied where Marcus Smart couldn't just, stand on the island on the perimeter, dig down to go double guys. He had to worry about Gary Payton moving all around, getting offensive rebounds, and being active. That was huge. Jordan Poole, his shots, man, he was efficient from the field. Got to get the defense in check. But when they needed him to step up, he did get stops. He held up, man. And that's all you can ask for, dog. And Klay Thompson, who's been quietly consistent over the last couple of games, hitting big threes, hitting big bombs. His defense done stepped up. You ain't heard from Jaylen Brown, as of late. I know he had 18, but he was 5 of 18. This is probably his worst game of the finals, man. Tatum had it going, man, but I just feel like when he understands really how to score, and when I mean score, like keep it simple, because he takes a lot of tough shots, and that's Wiggins' defense, no doubt. I know they're going to go back and forth, but when he really understands how to score and keep it simple and keep it efficient like that, I'm just getting to my spot. I'm not even going to play with you. He's going to be nearly impossible to deal with. Hell, he's already there anyway. But sometimes when he takes those tough shots, man, he misses, man. That's when you can get life against them, especially with Jaylen Brown not having it going. They needed Tatum to close, man, especially with Wiggins going off and Klay warming up, and they just couldn't do that, man. But it was a big win. It was a big win at home, so the Warriors just gotta go close it out on the road. They're playing with house money. They just gotta keep that same sense of urgency. And don't look at it like, even if we don't win the next game, we still got games set back here, because that's a dangerous game to play with this Boston Celtics team, because they're not going to go away. That's what I love about this Boston Celtics team. You're not going to beat them on the scorecard. You're going to knock them out. And that's what it is. But one thing Boston got to worry about is, pissed off Steph Curry. Because when you're the greatest at something, as competitive as he is, and the one thing that makes you great, you feel miserably at, he's going to be on the mission next game to try to make up for it. So it was a great game back and forth, man. But at the end of the day, like I said, this is going to be known as the Andrew Wiggins game.
Yeah, and to piggyback on some of the things that Boston, in terms of opportunities lost on, this is the first game when Looney ended up in like severe foul trouble. So Looney was only on the court for 17 minutes. We've known what he's meant. We've seen what he's meant to Golden State with his time on the court, which again kind of even makes the Gary Payton minutes that much more impactful and that much more important, because you had to make up for the production. Obviously, Looney doesn't score at the same rate, but when Gary's out there, he spends a lot of time in big man areas on the court, attacking the glass, dunker spot at times. As the guy on a short roll, like he does a lot of different things, but they needed it because Loon wasn't out there. You mentioned Poole. I was happy. It's been good watching to see him kind of improve his decision making, because to start the series, he was looked like the lights were a little too bright to start the series. Wiggins has been tremendous, man. I'm gonna keep saying this. I know you've been saying it over and over again. Even this game when Jason got off in that fourth quarter, Wiggins spent more time on him and he completely shut the water off. And I just want to make that abundantly clear. He took the faucet off the wall like it was done. It was a good performance on both ends. And again, with Steph struggling, let's think about it. He's the only other dude not named Steph and Jordan Poole could consistently put the ball on the floor and create his own shot. Mm-hmm. So again, just this performance was huge tonight. Like you said, it's going to be known as the Wiggins game. But again, 43 minutes for him. And, you talked about Klay. I felt like Klay looked different defensively to start this game. Like it looked like he had his legs underneath him defensively from like the opening tip. The first couple possessions. It looked like defense was like, all right, it looks like it's going to be one of those nights where he has his legs underneath him on that end. But yeah, it's a tough game for Boston to lose. And we've been talking about this every game. The turnovers. Them and the turnovers. Like, they are oh so careless with the ball, and it costs them a lot. That's the one thing about them. And again, that's some of that. Like, I don't want to make this some big ringing indictment. Like they're horrible. Obviously, they're not horrible. They're here. Like going into the series was one of the things I know you mentioned. You got a team who's been here before. The team was doing it for the first time. And sometimes we've seen that happen at the end of a couple games. Boston is dumb talented, dumb athletic. In crucial times, sometimes that decision making, and I agree with everything you said about Tatum. As soon as that boy understands he doesn't have to do that much to be more effective, it's scary hours. But at this moment, yeah, and this was, I think this might have been, this feels like the first really bad game for Jaylen Brown in terms of shooting from the floor. And I think that's one thing they really can't live without because of how he gets his buckets. He's the consistent guy that attacks the basket consistently the same way all the time. We've seen him finish through contact so much this series. With him just having a rough night. Kudos to him for getting to the line 10 times. But him having a rough night shooting, it affected them. But I think you tweeted a little while ago, Game 6 is going to be tough. And I would hope that the Warriors have the correct mindset that, just because you can't come back home doesn't mean you want to come back home. And that said, Boston's not going to roll over and give them Game 6 by any means necessary.
Yeah, man, and Boston might be tight at home because, see, now all the pressure on them is do or die. You know what I'm saying? You can come out and play hard as you want, but they've never experienced this.
It's true.
This is the first time they've lost back-to-back games. Now, they played a Game 7 on the road in Miami. This is the finals.
Yeah.
You're not playing a team that, let's keep it a buck. Outside Jimmy, who you really worried about scoring-wise. You playing against some guys that can put the ball in the hole, so it's a different animal. You know what I'm saying? And that's just what it is. And I think the Warriors are confident, and experience does play a factor. So they come out with a sense of urgency. They should be able to do what they need to do in Boston and close this out. And like I said, I'm looking at Steph. I expect him to be coming on, John Wick mode. Like, I gotta get my back because, kick me off the roof, man. So,
right.
And one other thing, Steve Kerr, I gotta give him credit, man. He's coaching his ass off.
Yep.
It's this narrative like Steve Kerr's not a great coach. He got great players. And I'm just like, well, what coach didn't win with, one without great players throughout NBA history? And every great coach did. But, even when guys are getting in foul trouble, certain things that the Boston are doing, he's subbing certain guys for those situations for a few minutes, and they're impacting things where it's forcing Udoka to have to adjust on his end once again, or it's impacting the game where it's favoring the Warriors, or it's buying the guys he want in time to get a quick breather, stay out of foul trouble, whatnot. And then when they get back in, they're good to go, man. He's pushing all the right buttons. Like, they talking about play Kuminga, but what they're not understanding is Jellicoe, the 5 minutes he came in, he didn't score anything like that. But what he was the additional ball handler, which kept Al Horford and Rob Williams away from Clay and Wiggins and Draymond. And that's when Draymond started getting free, being able to score. Now he got it going. Now you got to adjust. And then when they adjusted, he took a Jellicoe back out and went back with his original starting lineup, man. So it was huge, especially with Looney in foul trouble, man. So, kudos to Curry. He's coaching his ass off.
For sure. And like you said, I was thinking it before you said it, like, he hit every right button. Like, tonight, to navigate, like, you're a small team, and what, the tallest big you had was in foul trouble tonight. Like, buying those little moments. What, Iggy played 4 minutes, and you're talking about, like, what's it called? Liking it to football, just situational football. It was situational basketball at key points. Iggy played 4 minutes, but there were little times where it was just enough, sandwiched between timeouts, media timeouts, or what have you, to buy folks some time to either chill out or get somebody some additional rest. Right? It's been he's been great this series, and again, this all goes to the fact that their core has been here before. Not everybody, but it's been here before. And again, going to folks who haven't been here, want to give Andrew Wiggins all the credit in the world, Gary Payton II all the credit in the world. they're stepping in and supporting these guys, but they haven't been here. First go round for a lot of these guys, and kudos to them. Obviously, Jordan Poole as well, but kudos to them for stepping in because tonight they don't get this win without Wiggins and Payton tonight, without those contributions, for sure without Wiggins, and especially with Loon in foul trouble because Loon typically, and that's the other thing, Loon's so dependable, underrated, and reliable. We noticed it tonight because it was a weird situation. How often is he in foul trouble?
That and that's because Rod Williams was very active, man. And he's a defensive monster, man. And why now y'all see why I love him coming out of college. And I'm like, and he's only gonna get better from this. When he get healthy next year, shit, he might be defensive player of the year right now. My favorite, dog, because the Warriors, the layups that they normally made in the past, they're missing a lot of those because they feel him. They feel his presence. And he coming like when Draymond saw the ball, bad knee, ran after him, tried to get the block, and Dre was like, oh, he had to go for the dunk.
Yeah.
Well, he would have palmed this shit. So I'm loving that, man. Look, it's gonna be tough, but the Warriors ain't tripping. They've been there. They already won in Boston, so they're not tripping. They know what the atmosphere is gonna be like. The big key is Draymond got to bring it on the road. He's been okay at home, but he got to bring it on the road for sure. And Boston, he's been shaky, and they can't afford for him to be shaky next game. It's going to be interesting, man. It's going to be very interesting because Jaylen Brown, I don't expect him to be off like that. And I know Tatum will watch the tape and see where he left. He left some points on the board, just trying to take what we call hero shots, like the air ball late, man. You know what I'm saying? Just because it's there late in the fourth, dead legs, and Wiggins make you work, you playing right into their hands, man. Get the ball. And sometimes, you don't need a ball. Get the ball up and just get to your spot. That's something Jordan did great. And I know he had Pippen and those guys, but still, he knew how to find ways to get to a spot without the ball and conserve energy by just being an efficient scorer that way, man. And that's the next step for Tatum.
For sure, but it was a great game tonight. Again, shout out to Andrew Wiggins again. And with Rod Williams, one of the things I want to say, one of the things I've been impressed with this series and throughout the postseason, he's a very good passer. It's just just one of the things I've been impressed with through this series, because a lot of times they hit him on a roll or whatever, and he's pinging the ball to the corners, making the right reads or whatnot. Just one of the things I was impressed with. So.
Oh, they're NBA players, man. Like they may, a lot of these guys have skill that they're just not required to use based on their role. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's a finisher and a shot blocker, so he's not. You know what I mean? Like, he's not really in the high post like that, man, unless he's coming to set a screen or whatnot. So, I mean, he probably could do a lot of things that people aren't aware of, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, people probably don't know, like, mid-range, he has a jumper. They don't even expect that. But I've seen him in warm-ups when they about to play the Wizards. He's water from there. But that's just not his role. That's what Tatum and Brown operate, man. So you kind of got to make all that mesh and stuff. But don't be surprised next year you see him expand his game, and that's just what it is, man. So, look, the difference right now, you can kind of see it is the Warriors have figured some things out about them. And the thing is, they know how to close because they've done it constantly. Boston's trying to figure it out against a team that know how to do it. And that's why you got to get an edge to the Warriors. But the Warriors got to bring it because, just because Boston don't know how to close don't mean their effort and energy and stuff won't be able to carry them to a win if the Warriors come and BS them.
Right. So we'll see you guys. Next time we'll see you guys is for NBA Finals recap. I believe the Game 6 is on Thursday. Mm-hmm. Again, just for this program, then we'll see y'all Wednesday morning on the Focus TV when that drops on Roku channel. I'll see some of y'all tomorrow morning for Mornings with the Focus. But for Cardell and myself, y'all have a great day since it's the morning.